What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today I bring you all here to ask ourselves a very entertaining question. What would happen if Batman and Spider-Man were to switch rogue galleries or fights? How would they do? Who would do better? Etc. I'm going to break it down for you, breaking it up into groups of breezes and warm-ups where it's quite frankly some villains I don't think they'll have too hard of a time with. And then we'll get into the other grouping, which is battles, good battles, and potential losses. At the end, we'll talk about how both did and discuss who I believe would probably do better if they switch. Real quick, though, if you are a fan of Swap Roles series, make sure to smash the like button. Let's get it to 200 likes. And let me know in the comment section down below who we should swap next, as well as check out the first video in this series, which was Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate. Also, hit up my Discord. We do games, prizes, giveaways, D&Ds, and more. And if you want to see your favorite content on this channel, hit me up. I currently have video deals going on, as well as server deals if you want to join my scan server. But yeah, today is a Batman and Spider-Man fight swap. So let's start off with Batman. Now, for the detective out of Gotham, who do I have listed out of the 21 opponents as breezes and warm-ups for him? First is Sandman. While Sandman is actually one of the more capable characters in Spider-Man's rogue galleries, he is running into a nightmare matchup in Batman. My reasoning for this is Batman is well accustomed to fighting characters of elemental nature, and so seeing someone of Sandman, he's automatically going to know how to treat such a battle. And I think the way he would go about it would be a lot more devastating than how Spider-Man usually does. Because unlike Spider-Man, Batman does carry tools on him and gadgets of the elemental type. So he could freeze or, massive water attacks on Sandman if he needed the gear to do so. So I actually see that, despite his danger being a pretty mid to easy matchup for Batman. Next would be Mysterio. Calling cards for Mysterio are pretty much illusions and tricking people, right? That's just not going to be enough for Batman. Batman's fought people like him before. Going to figure out his game real quick, and then the problem for Mysterio is he doesn't have hands. He's going to get beat the fuck up after that. So Batman should run through him. Next is Lizard. Lizard is a better version of Killer Croc, just a slightly more polished, but that's not enough. Again, brute strength, these type of fighters, Batman's accustomed to, even the mutant types. I don't see him being a problem. Obviously, if Batman were to fight stupid and just go no gear, hand to hand, yeah, Lizard would stand a way better chance. But with Batman cooking per usual, I don't see Lizard taking it. Next, we have Vermin. Vermin is actually a little more dangerous than people give credit to. I mean, this is a being that gave Spider-Man legitimate problems. However, the feral approach of Vermin, while dangerous, is not as dangerous as someone like Batman, who has several tools at his disposal to slow down a being like Vermin, if not outright take him out. I think he would hold him off, figure out real quick, okay, I'm not really dealing with a human, this is more like a monster, and he would take down Vermin real quick after that. Next, we have Vulture. As you guys might guess, I don't have too much belief in the power of Vulture, especially if he's going up against someone like Batman. Batman's better at literally every fucking thing in life than Vulture. Can we keep it a bean? Let me know in the comment section if you disagree with any of what I just said. But he would beat the absolute dog shit out of Vulture. Next is Shocker. Dollar General Electro is not moving anyone. I'm sorry. Batman doesn't give a fuck about that. He does not care about Shocker, that weak-ass electric attacks. Wouldn't be shocked if Batman pulled up with stronger electricity. It'd be a pretty disrespectful battle. Next, we have Batroc the Leaper. Batroc is a capable martial artist and damn near borderline superhuman athlete. However, he's kind of an idiot, and fighters like Captain America, the well-seasoned technical fighters, do extremely well against Batroc types, and I don't see Batman being an exception here. I see him embarrassing Batroc if they were to match up, just due to being more polished and technical. Next, we have Scorpion, one of those more class of fighters that are brutish in nature and would try to just beat up Batman. I don't see that going over very well. I see Scorpion actually getting bullied were he to run into Batman. Next, we have Tombstone. While, yeah, Zeb Wells has given Tombstone a little more sauce, he's also doing Spider-Man horrendously, so that doesn't count. Tombstone's more of like a glorified gangster, lesser than a Falcone type, honestly, in terms of status, and he would get taken down by Batman, who has the superior gear and fighting skill. Last on the breezes and walkthroughs for Batman, we have Electro. While Electro is a lot stronger than Shocker, the problem here is, again, he's the same class and style as what Batman ran into with Shocker, and the problem with that is arguably he's going to face Shocker before he would face an Electro, and due to this, he'd probably be even more ready to run into something like that. I don't see Electro taking down Batman due to his what he has at his disposal in terms of gadgets, tech, as well as his intelligence and the way he fights. It's a bad matchup for Electro. Now let's move on to battles and potential losses. First up, we have Green Goblin. Norman Osborn is a fucking menace. His goblin gear and tech is something that I don't think it's as good as Batman's, but it's good enough to easily rival him, be dangerous. He's more physically gifted than Batman is, I would say. Basically having a super soldier serum hybrid that also made him crazy as fuck. Due to his IQ, danger with his tech, and ruthlessness, I grade this battle for Batman as being high. This is a high difficulty fight, and there is a chance he could lose, although I don't list it as a loss for Batman, but Green Goblin is him. Next, we have Hobgoblin. I have Hobgoblin graded at a mid to high difficulty for Batman. My reason for this is, yes, he's a lot like Green Goblin in a lot of ways. He brings the same things to the table. But Goblin, to me, green-wise, was a little more polished and a little more dangerous, a little more nasty. I don't think Hobgoblin is quite as dangerous as Green Goblin. And especially if Batman already has fought someone like Green Goblin before running into Hobgoblin, that makes it worse for Hob. So I would say mid to high difficulty. Next, we have Doc Octopus. Doc, at his best with his tentacles, is quite formidable and very durable with them as well. He can take most of what Batman can dish out. Another thing that makes him complicated is he is human. So some of the methods that could easily take him out, Batman won't resort to because it might kill him. His intelligence and danger with his tentacles makes him a mid-level fight for me, but Batman would, in my opinion, eventually bring him down. Next, we have Kraven the Hunter, the maddened, supreme hunter of the Marvel comics, although he does kind of concede sometimes to Wolverine, but that's a conversation for another day. Kraven, how would this go if he matched up with Batman? Well, he definitely has the physical traits to be considered at or above. Batman took an herb that allowed him to even be physically impressive to the likes of Spider-Man. He has also bullied the likes of Vermin and Vulture on this list, several of the low tiers or breezes for Batman. I think with his ability to hunt and skill, he's mid to high difficulty. The problem for Kraven, though, he's not that tough. He's just not that, like, when you take him to a certain level, when you take it there in terms of a fight, he tends to fold and be like, look, I'm just a hunter. I'm not more like the drag out fight where we see who's tougher. That's not my thing. So I could see Kraven folding on that front. So I'd rate it at a mid to high diff. Next, we have the first of potential losses. I think pulling up on Morlun, Batman would have a lot of trouble. Morlun is a powerhouse connected to this like multiversal animal / web, and he's trying to kill all the spiders of the multiverse. He is essentially like a mystic vampire whose punches have been likened to the likes of Hulk and Thor. Even if you disagree with him scaling that high in terms of his physical output, Batman running into someone this devastating physically would be extremely problematic, as well as how smart and crafty Morlun is. it's more than likely Batman would lose this fight. Next, we have Venom. I have this battle rated at a high difficulty, and it was actually kind of difficult to assess because the Venom fight can go a lot of ways. Obviously, massively above Batman in physical stats. Like, I just think he's physically above him. No real way to argue it. Also, pretty intelligent and ruthless. However, the sound thing, that could be a problem. If Batman were to figure out some of the ways and nature of the symbiote, he could easily dispatch of it. If he were to try to blind him with his Kryptonian level light, Venom might be cooked. There's a few ways it could go Batman's way in this matchup. The ferocity and physical devastation of Venom makes him a high-grade threat, but I do think Batman would take him down. Next, we have Rhino. Rhino is no slouch. This is a guy that literally battled Silver Surfer to allow animals to escape from a zoo. Physical powerhouse, has run into even Ben Grimm and Hulk and tried to go toe-to-toe with them. However, I do not see Rhino being smart enough, crafty enough, or quite frankly, bringing anything to the table of crazy consideration for Batman. Batman should be able to deal with the brute nature of Rhino and eventually take him down mid-difficulty. Next is, in my opinion, another potential loss for Batman. This is Carnage. Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, on top of the symbiote having garnered a lot more respect and literal power in recent Marvel comics, Carnage is above Venom. Usually it takes the likes of Venom and Spider-Man to even compete with him. Too capable, too regenerative, too nasty, and too powerful, in my opinion, for Batman to deal with if they were to run into each other. I feel like Carnage, especially in an initial / surprise encounter, would take down Batman. Next, we have Taskmaster. Taskmaster, Tony Masters, is one of the most polished and superior martial artists in all of Marvel Comics. He also has the ability to essentially copy everything he sees, register it, and fight accordingly. However, the problem for Taskmaster, one, he's not that tough. Like, if you start beating up Taskmaster, he's going to be like, alright, you know what? Fuck this. I'm getting out of here. I'll lose the bag if I can't fight anymore. He'll just give up, right? Like, so he is liable to do that. However, his ability, gear, and skill makes him formidable to Batman, so I have him graded at a mid to high tier threat, depending on which Taskmaster shows up that day. If he's feeling tough, a lot bigger threat. Next, we have Kingpin. Kingpin is a character that, especially in his earlier days, Spider-Man struggled with, even questioned how he could possibly be human. He has a crazy assortment of gear, including a cane whose energy blast Spider-Man said could actually cook him. He's also insanely durable, having beaten up Captain America before. Red Skull is outright terrified of him. He goes toe-to-toe with Spider-Man regularly. Kingpin is quite formidable. He also has dangerous mystic defenses that even Doctor Strange says are quite powerful. Now, I grade this as a mid to high diff. This is probably one of the toughest gangster type characters Batman has faced, but Kingpin can be overcome, and I do think Batman eventually would take down Kingpin. Mid to high difficulty. Lastly, on this, we have Black Cat. I have this coming in at a mid-grade. While, yes, obviously, insanely talented fighter, athlete with some luck, Black Cat is tough, but the reason she's a mid-diff is Batman loves bitches, too. Black Cat's a hoe. This might go down in a Catwoman fashion, where he's pulling punches and might get him cooked sometimes, but I still have him winning mid-difficulty. But that's the Batman side of things, with ultimately him having 10 fights I would consider breezes, and 11 of them battles and potential losses, with 2 of them in Morlun and Carnage, totaling up who I think would actually just beat Batman. Now, we got that out the way. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Let's get over to the Spider-Man side of things. To start off with Spider-Man, let's first talk about the breezes and warm-ups. First, Killer Croc. I cannot express to you guys how bad Spider-Man would beat the fuck out of Killer Croc. Killer Croc is a worse version of Lizard. Spider-Man's got him in literally every category Like, Killer Croc is literally just going to get mauled. That would be a really bad matchup for Killer Croc. Spider-Man by a fucking landslide in that instance, for sure. Next up is Penguin. This is also rough for the Penguin side because he's basically a shrunk version of Kingpin. I'm sorry, that's not doing much to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's too athletic, too tough. He's just too much for Penguin. Penguin would get cooked. Next, we have Solomon Grundy. Now, this is considering like a Grundy stumbling around at around the level he usually is dealing with Batman, which is, yeah, he's stronger than Batman, but that's about it. I don't see this going well for Grundy. This is like an easier fight than Rhino for Spider-Man, and stylistically, he would just style all over him. Next, we have Two-Face. Two-Face, besides being crazy and a gang member and crime lord, that's about it. He won't do anything special that will particularly worry Spider-Man, and I believe Spider-Man would kind of run through him. Next, we have Mr. Freeze, the man with the slushy gun. He's not fast enough. He's not skilled enough. Frankly, he's not overly that smart in battle. Yes, I guess like if the ice hits Spider-Man, that could be a trouble. I don't think it will. I think Spider-Man's too much of an athlete and would just sauce on Mr. Freeze. Next, we have Man-Bat. Man-Bat, the rabid flying Man-Bat. Freak accident. Experiment gone wrong. Langstrom's not doing anything to Spider-Man. He's too fast, too strong. This is probably like around Vulture level, if not a little tougher than Vulture, maybe, but Vulture's smarter. I don't know. Dr. Langstrom loses to Batman. Next, or Spider-Man, I'm sorry. Next is Firefly. Firefly, again, has airborne capabilities, as well as obviously using pyro-based weaponry. However, Spider-Man's agile enough to swing around the city, swing around these attacks, and take down Firefly, were they to go back and forth. Next, we have Scarecrow. Scarecrow is kind of like Mysterio. You could argue and have a debate over who is superior in their field between Scarecrow and Mysterio. Regardless, similar to how it wasn't much trouble for Batman, I don't see this being too much of an issue with Spider-Man. He could avoid Scarecrow outright if he encounters it. He has experience with characters like Mysterio, so he could probably just overcome it. And I see him taking down Scarecrow. Next is the Riddler. This was kind of a weird one because, yes, Riddler's quite capable, quite intelligent, obviously. Mentally can put Batman to the test even. But I just had this weird feeling Riddler would have a problem with Spider-Man. Not only is Peter Parker one of the smartest characters in Marvel, but his wit and humor would be probably really annoying for Riddler. I don't know. I kind of see Peter giving Riddler a psychotic meltdown. It might be bad. And then last on the breezes and easy fights, we have Clayface. Again, you can get into an argument about if you think Sandman or Clayface is superior. Regardless, Clayface, I don't see being too much of an issue for Spider-Man. Having fought someone like Sandman before, he would not struggle too hard to find a way to put down Clayface. Now let's move on to battles and potential losses. First, we have Raz Al Ghul. Now, Raz Al Ghul is a character who is long-standing and renowned for being the head of the most formidable League of Assassins in the world, League of Shadows, and he also helped raise the likes of Damian Wayne. He is one of the best fighters to ever exist, has gone toe-to-toe with the likes of Batman easily, and even stalemated him in combat before, as well as he's obviously willing to kill and has a lot of resources at hand. I rate this battle at high difficulty. His resources, the help he has, as well as his own skill and toughness, and increased stats through the Lazarus Pit, Ra's al Ghul, or Raz Al Ghul, is more than capable of dealing with the likes of Spider-Man. I don't see him beating Spider-Man, but definitely a super dangerous fight. Next, we have the first of what I think would be a potential loss for Spider-Man, Poison Ivy. Not only is Peter Parker a sucker for bitches, right? Especially bad bitches. But Poison Ivy has gotten a lot stronger in DC Comics. She could not only seduce Peter, but she's outright just incredibly dangerous in the method how she fights, how she can sprout gardens and entire forests. It would have his spider sense going crazy, literally 360. So I actually do think Poison Ivy could take him down. Next is Talon in the Court of Owls. This is a battle I rate at high difficulty. The reason for this is how intelligent the Court of Owls are, how capable Talon is, easily being able to go to toe-to-toe with Batman and other members of the Bat family. And the only reason I don't see him as potential loss, honestly, is the way they impacted Batman, honestly, fed a lot into Batman's ego. I don't see that happening with Spider-Man, like him being emotionally connected to the court. So I see Spider-Man taking that high diff. Next, we have Red Hood. Red Hood, Jason Todd, a former Robin who's capable of going against anyone in the Bat family, even beating up the likes of Lady Shiva, going toe-to-toe against characters like Deathstroke, and being a Batman tier character who's willing to kill. This would be incredibly problematic. However, we have seen in Rebirth, he doesn't scale to Batman when Batman's super serious. I feel like Spider-Man would get super serious with Red Hood and put him down mid to high difficulty. Next is another potential loss. We have the Batman Who Laughs. Batman Who Laughs is basically taking a Batman, taking a Joker, taking the best of both, or worse, depending on how you look at it, and merging them. It's a nightmare. And I feel like the capabilities of a Batman with the ferocity and just madness of Joker probably would be too much. I actually see him taking down Spider-Man, as he was even a chaotic nightmare matchup for Batman going all out. It's just bad. Next, we have Joker. Joker, due to his psychotic mind games and the levels he'll take it there, that would be the biggest issue for Spider-Man. Obviously, if he runs into Joker in just a fight, it's not as problematic, but the mind games would be. That's why I would rate it to mid to high difficulty. This goes strictly based on how well you think Spider-Man adjusts to the mental games of Joker. All I'm saying is that the Last Hunt, with how that psychologically damaged Spider-Man, I don't see why Joker's not capable of similar psychotic torture. But moving on, we have Bane. Bane, as you guys know, a Batman tier character who's on drugs, took out the Bat family, took out most of the Gotham rogues when he wanted to, has broken the Batman's back famously before. This is a crazy matchup. What favors Spider-Man is Bane can't overpower him. Bane can overpower a Batman, but I do think Spider-Man's still stronger, especially if he gets serious against Bane. I do think it's a high difficulty matchup, but Spider-Man would take down Bane, and it'd be a little easier for him to take down Bane, given how ferocious Bane is. He'd be willing to kill. Next, we have Hush. Who is Hush? A member of the Batman Rogues who essentially grew up with Bruce, tries to be like Batman, a knockoff Batman in a lot of ways, also carries guns, though, a lot more deadly in force than Batman tries to be. I actually see Hush being a mid-diff, while he is someone who tries to be crafty and take you down in Batman ways with a more dangerous kick. I don't see him doing that successfully against Spider-Man. Though he is skilled and tough, it's not enough. I have it at mid-diff. Next, we have Deadshot. Floyd is one of the best shooters in the DC universe, one of the most renowned assassins in Hitman as well, has many encounters with Batman and has a lot of respect for him. This would be interesting with Spider-Man. I do think Deadshot at his peak could probably tag Spider-Man at some point. However, I see Spider-Man taking him down quick and in a hurry. He's not going to play with the tech and guns of Deadshot. He's just going to get in and take him down. And his jokes, honestly, would be a bad thing for Deadshot, as Deadshot's not the most confident man in the world. I mean, he's gotten literally bullied before by the likes of Midnighter. So I could see Spider-Man bullying him as well. But his skill with the marksmanship, including hitting faster characters, makes him dangerous. Next, we have Catwoman. Similar to Bruce's problems, Spider-Man loves his bitches too. Catwoman, renowned thief, capable of going toe-to-toe with members of the Bat family, renowned for her athleticism and agility. Unfortunately, she's not more agile than Spider-Man. She's not quicker than Spider-Man. He's better at what she does best, and for that reason, I see him taking her down mid to high diff, depending on if he falls for her seductive bullshit. If he doesn't, she's losing mid. If he does, high diff. Last, we have another potential loss for him in Deathstroke. If Slade Wilson, being someone who regularly beefs with the likes of Teen Titans, takes on Batman all the time, pretty comfortably too, has taken on and fought people for several days, has a super soldier serum, as well as thinks faster than regular humans, comes with an insane arsenal that allows him to take hits from a holding back Superman and other metahumans. Deathstroke is brilliant, a tactical genius in fighting someone like Spider-Man. I think he'd take it very serious, given how physically capable Spider-Man is. Deathstroke probably does take him down in that initial encounter. However, if Spider-Man were to suddenly go all out, he probably could take Deathstroke, but besides that, I probably have Deathstroke taking that. Now, the count comes to 10 breeze fights for Spider-Man and 11 battles and potential losses, with 3 of them being potential losses. Overall, how do they stack up if they swap fights? I see them having the same amount of battles and potential losses and the same amount of breezes. However, I think Batman has one less loss than Spider-Man would. And you could pretty much attribute that to just styles make fights. Stylistically, some characters Batman would do a little better than Spider-Man against. But at the same time, it's really close. They had the same overall count. It's just there's one more potential loss for Spider-Man in being 3 of them. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How do you think this would go? And more importantly, comment down below who you want to see next swap roles and fights. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.